purpose of this quick video is to assist faculty to navigate Canvas, which is the new LMS that we will be using in the RN to BSN degree completion program. At the completion of this video, the faculty member will be prepared to function in the learning management system in the following ways. Be able to explore basic computer requirements, discuss general navigation strategies, identify course level requirements, and reviewing how to grade in the navigation process. So let's get started. Supported browsers include Internet Explorer 11, Safari 9 and 10, Chrome 56 and 57, Firefox 51 and 52, with Flash 23 and 24. Basic computer specifications include 800 by 600 pixel screen size, Windows 7 or newer. Users on Windows 10 need to download Windows 10 Anniversary Update to be able to submit Canvas assignments. Mac 10.6 and newer. There is also support for app navigation in both Android and iOS platforms. Computer screen processor and speed, using a computer 5 years old or newer when possible, 1 GB of RAM, 2 Hz processor or faster. How do you log into Canvas? You use your Ameritech.edu email address, username, and password. You log in to Canvas at ameritech.instructure.com. Once you log into Canvas, the first thing that you should do is to click on Account and Profile, and here is where you'll begin to set up your Canvas account profile. You'll click on the icon to the right to begin your profile. Once opened, the word Edit will appear. Click on Edit, and then you'll be able to upload a picture, upload how you want your name to appear, any contact information, and your biography. Now let's spend a minute and talk about the global navigation bar. The navigation bar is found to the left when you access Canvas. In this navigation bar, you will find Account, you will find Admin, Dashboard, Courses, Calendar, Inbox, Commons, and Help. So let's start with Dashboard. Dashboard is where you will see the courses that you will be teaching. If you click on Courses, it is another way to access which courses you will be teaching. As you notice in this particular screen, the course pops up to the right of the navigation bar once you click on Courses. Calendar is another piece of the global navigation bar. Once you have entered into your courses, assignments will also populate here on your calendar. It is a quick view of when assignments are due in the classes that you will be teaching. Inbox is communication, and this is an internal email communication where you can get messages from your courses. You can send and receive messages from faculty and the students in your courses. This feature is much like the messaging of the old LMS that we are leaving. Help. It's the last part of the global navigation bar. Once you click on the Help icon, it will provide you with a next open area where it says Need Help. Once you click into Need Help, that takes you back to the IT support internally within Ameritech. You will see a pop-up appear, and it will ask you either to log in with Office 365 or to provide your email address and password. Once you log in to the Need Help, you will see the help desk. This is internal for both faculty and students. In the help desk application, there'll be a question and answer guide. This is also where you will go to reset your access to email, or if you're having any difficulty accessing the LMS and you need passwords reset. So now let's move into the classroom and course navigation. Once you enter the course, whether you enter through your dashboard or courses on the global navigation bar, you will then create your home page. Once you're in a course, you will notice a secondary navigation bar that will pop up. This secondary navigation bar is how you navigate within a particular course. On this slide, it's showing you how to create your home page. All home pages look alike. Faculty will simply click on the little edit icon to the right of this screen. You will upload your picture. You will upload your name. You will upload your office hours, if they're virtual office hours, or if you're using conferencing to give virtual office hours, you will put it here. Contact information, email, and phone. Your phone can be either added or not added, but you must at least have your email, ameritech.edu, added to your homepage. Once you click on the edit and you've added what it is you're changing, a bottom button to the right of the screen will be Save. You will need to click on the Save button in order to save your home page. The next component of the course navigation bar is Announcements. Announcements is where you will post your initial course announcement and any weekly announcements that you post in the course. Again, to add an announcement, you will click on the announcement icon bar on the right hand side. Once you click on that, you will get an HTML editor where you will begin to type. Your announcement can be embedded with videos, with links. Be creative. Once you've added whatever your announcement is, you will click Save, and then the announcement will appear in the course. Again, announcements here is where you'll be adding your weekly announcements or any additional communication that you want to have with your class. Conferences. So for the purpose of Adobe Connect, and as we move from our old Moodle LMS into our Canvas LMS, conferences is how you will set up virtual office hours, or you will set up virtual live sessions with students on a weekly basis. You will simply click on the conference ad. It will ask you date and time, and it will ask you who you want to invite to the conference. You will have the option to invite the entire class or an individual person, depending on how you're going to use this conferencing tool in the new LMS. Gradebook. Gradebook looks very similar and functions very similar to any LMS. It gives you the student name to the left, and then as you scroll to the right, you will see all of the course assignments with allocated points. The gradebooks are set up in each course based on what the assignments are in the course. Again, courses are totaling 1,000 points. As you move through the course, at the end of the course, please remember, you will still have to manually input the holistic self-care assessment points at the end, as well as the bonus points for their participation in the weekly course overview question and answer sessions. Syllabus. Syllabus for the purpose of Canvas is the course description, course outcomes, and then any course activities that are a graded component of the course. The Student Resource Center is also going to be part of your initial course navigation bar. Student Resource Center is here for faculty so that faculty get an understanding of what is actually presented in the Student Resource Center so that you can direct students back to here for reference. Program resources are found in the Student Resource Center. This includes the help desk with questions and answers for frequently asked questions. It also contains access to student and career services from the student standpoint. Ameritech Nurse Monthly is top 5 picks from the RN-BSN program director on a monthly basis. It's also a link to the student catalog, the most recent student handbook, as well as the RN-BSN program description and requirements. Students can also find forms such as a leave of absence, such as a request for transcripts, and other forms related to financial aid here. There's also a link to current partnerships when students are looking to move forward with a master's or a doctoral program after the completion of the BSN. In addition to the Student Resource Center, there is APA Style. There's also access to Turnitin. There's also another access to the library resources through the Learn Library system. The Learn Library system will have an icon on the course navigation bar that will appear once the integration is fully completed with Learn. So now let's start to talk more specifically about faculty responsibilities in the classroom and using that course navigation bar to better understand modules. So as we begin to look at the course navigation bar, we've talked about home, announcements, we've talked about grades, we've talked about syllabus and conferences. Now we're going to move into modules. For all intents and purposes, every course will have a beginning module called course material. This is much like our previous essential course materials, which is how every course started. In this course material section, students will have access to the ebook access instructions. They'll also have information related to portfolio development, service learning guidelines, clinical experience, and clinical experience contracts where they will submit to the Dropbox. In addition, in course materials, this is where the students as well as faculty will find the entire syllabus, which is encouraged not only by the students but also by faculty to download a copy of that syllabus. So as we look at course materials, the clinical contract is found here for all clinical practice experience courses, which is all nursing courses. Once the student completes their clinical practice experience contract with their professional practice leader's name and contact information, they will upload it into the assignment Dropbox in course materials section. Faculty are reminded to open each clinical contract and reach out to the professional practice leader to confirm that the student is interviewing and working with this professional practice leader. A quick documentation here in each student assignment feedback box would be something like email sent, email received, professional practice leader, with no questions. And then you may put a date and a time and your name. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate, but it's just so that faculty are following up with each student's clinical practice contract and their professional practice leader. For any additional information, please reach out to Dr. Kathy Holloway who is the faculty manager. Clinical practice experience contract remains the same. The service learning completed timesheet Dropbox. Again, if a student is completing a service learning experience in a particular course and uploads the completed timesheet, faculty in that course must reach out to Dr. Kathy Holloway, since Kathy heads up the service learning piece of the program. Service learning timesheet assignment is not graded until Nursing 430. However, to allow the students the opportunity for service learning throughout the program, each course has the service learning timesheet and the Dropbox if the student completes it. Again, from a faculty standpoint in the course, faculty must reach out to Dr. Holloway to make Dr. Holloway aware that that particular student had completed the service learning timesheet. So let's review. In the course materials module, you will locate the syllabus, the ebook access, what clinical practice experiences are, the clinical practice experience contract, and then the Dropbox where the student puts the completed contract. Portfolio project is defined in course materials, and there will also be the link for Turnitin once courses go live under course materials in that module. Program resource with Turnitin has not changed. It remains the same. Students are given the login information for the particular course so that they can submit any documents related to that course to help improve their writing. Again, portfolio is the clinical practice experience. Again, all nursing courses have those clinical practice experiences. So now let's talk about the classroom week by week and grading responsibilities of faculty. Again, modules are designed for weekly. So you'll see a heading week 1, week 2, week 3, and therefore through week 8. Each module is designed in the same way. Class preparation, which has readings and multimedia resources, has the learning outcomes. If there's an assignment, the assignment will be listed. Again, week 1 through week 7 has discussion boards, and week 1 has an extra discussion board, getting to know you. This is where, as you prep the course prior to opening for the student, that you will post a welcome and provide the student with an introduction to who you are and what to expect from the class. At the end of the discussions, every week there's a weekly course overview and question and answer session. Again, this is where you will post your PowerPoints with voiceover or your videos or whatever you're creating from a faculty standpoint on a week-to-week basis as an overview for the student. And remember, according to the syllabi, the student must meet certain stipulations in order to get bonus points for participating in those weekly course overviews. Discussion boards, they look the same, they feel the same. They're threaded discussion boards, one discussion board a week in the nursing courses, week 1 through week 7. Now, grading of the discussion boards is a little bit different. Underneath each discussion board, you will see discussion board feedback. This is where you will go to provide your feedback as well as scoring using the rubric. As you provide feedback and score, you will save for each student, and it will automatically put the score into the gradebook for that particular student. Nothing has really changed. Discussion boards are worth 40 points. This is in class time. Posting your weekly course overview and question and answer session. Again, this is not changed from the way we were doing things. It's set up very similar. The student must respond that they've reviewed and include in that response one important thing that they learned from that weekly course overview session. Again, students could ask questions in here, so please be sure to frequently check this weekly course overview question and answer session. So let's review week-to-week course navigation modules. Readings, multimedia resources are included here. Each module or each week is set up exactly the same way. It will give you a label of the week, readings, multimedia. If there's an assignment, it will appear here. Assignments have integrated the descriptions and the rubrics, and then it's also the Dropbox of where students will upload their final assignment. Discussion boards, the rubrics, please remember you're providing feedback on the discussion boards under discussion board feedback, which is directly beneath each weekly discussion board. Weekly course overview, and then if there are tests, some courses have quizzes, which will fall under tests, or if there are activities, some courses have some simulations and some other activities for students to complete. Let's talk a little bit about WIKI collaboration. So in Canvas LMS, the WIKI is actually a module. As part of this module, there is a brief video on how to use the WIKI guidelines and rubrics, and then a link to go to my course WIKI. When a student clicks on Go to My Course WIKI, all nursing courses, with the exception of Nursing 420 and Nursing 430, have a WIKI. All WIKIs have the same subheadings: ethics and culture, holistic approach, health policy and government initiatives, hot topics, research and theory. So once the student selects a topic of interest, then it will take them to a page. The page will have an edit button. Once they click on the edit button, they will add their first name, their last name, WIKI update 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And it's very easy because once the student clicks on edit, they will see a box open. It will give them the ability to upload a link, upload a video, upload music. It gives them a lot of flexibility on adding to the page. In the past, there have been issues with tracking who adds what and what if something gets deleted. Once a student adds something, there is a trail as to what the student added, regardless if someone goes in and deletes it. We have the ability to pull it back up when we look at pages and we look at previous posts. So once the student uploads their update, they simply click save, and then their update will be under that particular heading in that particular course WIKI. Grading the WIKIs is very similar to what we had before. They appear in the WIKI module as update 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Once you click on that update, it will give you a box for personal feedback, and it will give you the rubric. Once you score the rubric, click save. It will push the score immediately into the gradebook for that particular student. The WIKI update rubric has not changed. Each WIKI update is worth 50 points, so that the 5 updates are worth 250 points total of the 1,000 possible points in the course. Assignments, they're very similar. It has the outcomes, it has the instructions. The rubric is tied here for the student to see. If there are template papers, there's also a link that will be posted here so that the student can click on the link, download the template, use the template, fill it in, and then re-upload the template. When you go to grade assignments, you will click on grading. Once you click on grading, the document will appear in the left window. Your rubric will appear in the right window. You simply click into the rubric. You have the ability to add comments. You will click save. Once you have posted comments on the paper, completed the rubric, added any additional assignment comments, you must click the submit button in order to move the graded score into the gradebook. Now let's talk about completing your course. The final week of the course will have a couple of pieces for you to be aware of. The last module, which is week 8, will have your WIKI discussion board. It will have a portfolio assignment, and if the student completed a service learning assignment. At the end of week 8, there is another section in every course called surveys. This is where the student will complete the course and faculty evaluation for that particular course. Again, the student must complete that before the holistic self-care reflection will appear. The portfolio assignment is really assessment of the student meeting learning outcomes. Once the student uploads their particular portfolio assignment, you will go ahead and you will click open to grade a particular student. And as you click that open, it might be a little overwhelming because all of the criterion from program level outcomes, student learning outcomes, baccalaureate essentials, Houston, 6 competencies, and the 5 holistic core values will all be part of this rubric. The good news is you will look at the syllabus, you will see exactly how the course outcomes link to student learning outcomes, and the student learning outcomes that are identified will be the ones that you will focus on, and the same thing with the program outcomes. If it's not part of the syllabi for student learning and program level outcomes, you will simply click not applicable. As for baccalaureate essentials, Houston, and the 5 core holistic values, you will assess each student's paper and you will determine whether or not those pieces are in this particular portfolio assignment. Once you've graded, you will click save, and this piece then will become part of our outcomes program level assessment. Service learning, again, in week 8, please be sure to make sure that the student has not submitted a completed service learning timesheet. And if they have, please make sure that you reach out to Dr. Holloway to let her know that the student had completed her service learning or his service learning assignment. Grading the WIKI summary. Again, you will go into the WIKI summary feedback, which directly follows the WIKI summary discussion board. You will then simply click on the grading rubric as to whether the student was meeting or deficient and scoring that particular WIKI summary. Using the same rubric that we have been using, once you've scored the feedback, click save. Again, those points will then end up in the gradebook for that particular student. The last piece is grading the holistic self-care reflection. The student either completes it and receives the 20 points or does not complete it and receives a 0 point. The student must complete the student evaluation of course and faculty before their holistic self-care reflection will open. That's how you will know that they've completed it, it will also show up here. You'll be able to look at their responses. And it's always a nice thing to spend a minute at the end of your course and review the student responses to the holistic self-care reflection. Again, the self-care reflection stays the same from how it used to be as we went from our previous Moodle LMS to our Canvas LMS. Any additional training that you will need will be found in the faculty orientation course, which will go live for you, and you will have access to that course moving forward. Another location is to type in Canvas guides, or to go to the Canvas community or Canvas Commons, and you will find a guide for navigating the Canvas LMS or answers to any additional questions that you might have. Thank you so much for your time. I hope that this information will be helpful as we move into Canvas.